All right, so to give us their perspectives on ending the conflict in southern Kaduna, we've got Shaibu Danlami, the leader of the Hausa community, as well as Francis Koza, who is a leader of Atiap community. They both join us from Abuja. Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today. Now, this peace agreement that has been signed, many have said, look, they've signed peace agreements before. Why do you think this one will be different, Mr. Koza?
We have signed a peace agreement after the 1992 crisis, and that accord lasted for over 28 years. We didn't have any record of any serious breakdown of law and order in Atiap chiefdom. So that at least is a feat. Society is dynamic. Problems could come, and then you try your best to address those problems. The most important thing is the willingness of the people to address their problems headlong. And so this time around, when we had this challenge, these killings from June to August, the paramount ruler felt that, look, there's a need for us to talk. And we talked. And at the end of the day, we agree on some basic things that will enhance the peaceful coexistence in the chiefdom. The most important thing is that this process was home-driven. The people that are directly involved participated, and they evolve the system, the mechanism that they want to use henceforth to be able to deal with any subsequent crisis in the chiefdom. And I think it's something, the commitment of the people are there. It cannot be vouched about it. We can vouch about it. We accept that they are willing to do what they need to do to maintain peace and order.
All right, let me turn to Mr. Danlami on this one. If he says the people are willing, because, I mean, there are those who, first of all, could you tell us, why do you think this will work?
Yes, it will work believing the fact that people who are committed, people who are sincere, people who are trustful, set up something like this, you will go ahead to believe that it is going to work, despite the fact that there may be challenges. But we feel that by the grace of God, this peace agreement that was arrived at the summit will work. So we want to believe that it is going to work by the grace of God.
Okay, gentlemen, we also have Luke Biniad, who is also of Atiap community, Zangon Kataf local government, joining us via Zoom. Good morning, and thank you for joining us today. Well, everybody wants peace. And now that this peace agreement has been signed, from your perspective, how do you see this playing out?
Well, this peace agreement is something that has to be handled cautiously because from what I have gathered when I went home on the day of the peace accord, I discovered that a lot of the people who were victims of this violence were not consulted. They had it in the air. They are still hurting. In as much as I have to acknowledge that a lot of the displaced people have returned home out of a sense of security, cautious security, and safety. But the healing process and the forgiveness in the heart is yet to come. We ought to have consulted with them because they will tell you that they know the people who came and burned their homes, they know the people who came and killed them. How were they going to forgive? Nobody informed them this and that. So in as much as it is welcome, it is something that is highly desirous of our communities, but we have to give empathy to the victims. We have to ensure that those who have lost so much get some sense of compensation and reparation. But it is a good thing, and it is something that we are hopeful, if the right buttons are touched, enduring and truthful, seamless peace can be achieved in Atiap land, our only land.
Just to be clear, are you saying that there needs to be some form of prosecution and justice served for this whole peace accord to work?
Yes, everywhere in the world where this kind of reconciliation took place and was successful, there is no way that you will not bring the parties directly involved. Elite cannot sign an agreement exclusive of the principal actors, exclusive of the people who suffered losses, who suffered pains, who are still going through trauma. You don't go and sign a peace agreement on behalf of somebody who just buried his lost one, somebody who doesn't even, right now there are a lot of them who have lost houses. Who is taking care of them? There are injured people in the hospital who are footing their bills. These are some of the things that ought to have been done. Take care of these people, talk to them. Then the people they are accusing of this violence, if it is possible, bring them face to face, let them talk. But that was not done. In as much as I appreciate and applaud the move of our paramount and chief to see that peace is returned earnestly, but as long as the healing from the heart by the victims is not done, this peace can only be enforced. It is not seamless, it is not harmonious. But I believe that enduring peace can be, like my senior brother Francis said, we have enjoyed peace since 1992. And peace is what we are used to in a chiefdom. So it's very easy to reconcile these people if the right move is done.
Well, Mr. Koza, you just heard him, say this, and one wonders if you agree that indeed the people who have been hurt have not been represented. Otherwise, one wonders who are the people that signed, the peace accord on behalf of these people who are, as he said, aggrieved and hurting.
Well, thank you very much. Maybe my brother Biniat is not aware of the consultations that took place before the summit. I make bold to say that I was actively involved. His Highness, the Gwatiap, Sir Dominic Yahaya, did a lot of consultations. He had a lot of meetings with different stakeholders in the chiefdom. He went round to the chiefdom and met with those who were affected in the crisis. I remember he went round even to my village, Kurumirosara, where it took place. He sat down with the people. The district heads were there, the village heads were there, and the people that were affected directly by the crisis were also there. We sat down, he talked to them, he encouraged them, he consoled them and comforted them, and told them that he's going to take steps that will bring about peace. He moved around all the villages that were affected. He was at Benyegui. He sat down with them and discussed with them. And a host of places. He went to Zango, where the Fulanis were, and he also met with them and discussed with them. And I showed them that he was going to take steps to ensure that peace is returned, to ensure that security is returned. Okay. It was after that consultation, and having got the support of the people, he now summoned this meeting. And the meeting discussed the issues and then arrived at some level of communique. So this communique was now released, and it is this communique that is being pursued. I beg bold to say that His Highness also has planned a meeting to take the message of the community down to the grassroots. As from
Mr. Koza, just one moment. Just one moment, Mr. Koza. Just one moment, Mr. Koza. Before this segment began, we played a clip that one of your leaders, one of the people who attended that meeting said, peace can only come when there is justice. How has that meeting and this communique and all these consultations factored in the justice element in this whole process?
The justice element was recognized in that meeting. And one of the resolutions that was taken at that meeting was that henceforth, well, first of all, after consulting with the people, the meeting resolved that the people who are aware of those who perpetrated this should report them to the police, to the security for investigation. And we further say that anybody who commits any offense henceforth must be handed over to the police for prosecution. The meeting, these are issues that are contained in the resolution. And the people are working. I know as a fact that the security agencies are all over the place. They are now fishing out perpetrators of this act, and they are bringing them to book. So please, what the people are doing, the people are resolved to living in peace. The security agencies, I know, have been enhanced. They are working. They are fishing out all those perpetrators, and they are going to bring them to book. The governor has promised he was going to support that. The chiefdom have promised they were going to support the security agencies. And so we have a reasonable number of security agencies in the chiefdom now. And they are really working to fish out perpetrators. And I believe by the time they finish their own work, investigate and anybody who is found guilty will be brought to book.
All right, Mr. Danlami.
That we as a people will support the security agencies to effect those changes.
Okay, let me turn to Mr. Danlami. Now, what some of the residents, they say is that before attacks happen, the trend they notice is that some of the herders will usually leave some areas, and before you know what's happening, then there's a strike, and then you don't see them anymore because they say they act on privileged information. So, and then some others just wonder that there are people who harbor certain killers who come from outside the area and then come and carry out some of these acts. What is it thinking, having signed this agreement, moving forward about these issues, these concerns that they have?
Well, let me first of all say that the peace accord, or I would say the peace agreement that was signed as a result of the summit that took place, I was one of those people that signed the communique. And fundamentally, the essence of that summit is not to end the crisis completely, because during the summit, there are specific times that were given that this killing has been on and on and on. And the strike that has happened in June could be traced back to an extension of the crisis since 1992. The fundamental issues in that crisis has still not been resolved. That is the reason why the governor and the government of Kaduna State feels that these problems could be resolved if the white paper is issued, if the white paper is released. As we await the government white paper and other stakeholders that were trying to make sure that they broker peace between us have done their own part, let us come, let us stop these killings, let us understand the differences that bring us together. Let us do one thing or the other. We have signed the agreement believing that it is going to be successful, it is going to work, and it is going to serve as a kickstart. It is going to serve as a roadmap. It is going to serve as something that we can use to continue the discussion in such a way that these problems could be solved once and for all. But fundamentally, other issues relating to the crisis is still there. It has not been finally resolved, and it will take time for all the communities to come together.
Let's bring in Mr. Biniat now, because right after that peace meeting, he actually put out a statement where he spoke his mind. And I recall you ended by saying you want peace, which is what I believe everybody wants in this party. But, you know, he has referred to the white paper, which you spoke about, and you don't quite agree with it. So what do you think should be put in place for this to work?
Okay, first of all, let me respond to what my senior brother Kuza said about white consultation. I do not want to come on national TV and disagree with you, but I want to tell you that I am a community-based person. I am greatly entrenched at home, and I know what the people are saying, and I know the grievances, and I know the anger that is there. But let us leave it there. Let's go back to the issue of the white paper. You see, these are some of the problems that we face under this government. Since 1992, there has never been any crisis in Achablan, and we have already gotten along, you know, with our lives until this new wave of violence, which is very strange to previous violences in Kaduna State. The previous ones were urban-based, and they were sporadic, and they were far in between. But what we have now are continuous assault on rural communities, and they have been literally captured and we have the district to provide that. Now let me go back to the white paper. I know that the ACD, Community Development Association, strongly kicked against that white paper. There is no need for that white paper.
We have to wrap up now, but we want you quickly, tell us very quickly, what do you suggest will be the solution moving forward?
what I suggest to be the solution forward is that, number one, the people that are hurt, the people that are affected, they should be compensated. There should be with both the victims and those that are alleged to have committed the offense. Next, the governor must try to understand and show empathy to everybody. His utterances and actions have not been helpful at all. This is what encourages violence. One side is feeling superior over the other one.
Okay, Mr. Koza, suggestions, way forward, moving forward, very quickly, please.
Thank you very much. First, I crave the indulgence of our people to forgive each other. Number two, let all of us be law-abiding. Under no circumstances should anybody take law into his hands. Number three, let us love one another, because we all need each other to survive. Thank you.
I mean, quickly as well, your suggestions moving forward.
Yes, with sincerity of purpose, with truthfulness, with commitment from people, we are sure that peace is going to be restored, and we are sure that the people will be involved in everything that we are doing, and that people should also support government to ensure that whatever the government put in place to ensure that this peace has come to last, let people abide by it.
All right, gentlemen.
That is my suggestion, and I wish that everybody will do everything.
All right. Well, thank you all for your comments and for talking to us today. We hope that there will indeed be peace. And as the Vice President did say, they will prosecute culprits of those killings and it will not be swept under the carpet. Let's take a look at some of the comments coming through from you now. We've got Chigozie Ude saying, Nigeria is at its all-time low on diplomatic front. It is a problem of responsible and vocal leadership. If the Nigerian president showed any kind of interest, Ghana will be on their knees, but they know Nigeria won't care.
Well, Prince Austin Oji says Nigerian traders in Ghana that are being frustrated should be asked to come back home. I guess he was quoting what Bashar Dele Momodu said earlier. He said, he has said it the way it should be. Our government are not doing enough. GIP's Act is targeted at Nigerians.
And this one from Fredinette says, this rift did not start today, in my opinion. It can only be solved if the presidents of both nations come together and sign a treaty that is binding.
All right, so there you go. That is the show today. We thank you all for your comments, and we do hope that you keep them coming. We'll see you again next week. I'm Chamberlain Uso.
Aren't you just excited? It's Friday. I'm Kyle.
That's why it's raining in Abuja.
Yeah. And I'm Ayo Makide. Please do stay safe out there. Have a wonderful week.